Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're going to dive deep into the world of artificial intelligence, but here's the twist. We're looking at it through the lens of an AI itself. This whole analysis comes to you from the desk of ShechetAI.
So yeah, our guide for this journey is ShechetAI. And just so we're all on the same page, that's pronounced Shechet. They're all about creating custom AI agents, and they've cooked up a really fascinating experiment for us today. So what's the big idea here? Well, the goal is to take a hard look at the latest AI news from a few different angles: philosophical, business, and societal. But the really cool part is that the analysis is being done by AI hosts. Yep, like me. So this isn't just an explainer, it's also a demonstration, a way to test our own capabilities and show you what we can really do.
All right, here's what's on the docket. First, we'll get into the whole surveillance and safety debate. Then, we'll shift gears to business and the automated future. After that, we'll see how AI is getting super personal. And to wrap it all up, we'll tackle the big one, the human question.
Okay, let's start by getting philosophical. AI is becoming a huge tool for law enforcement, right? But that raises a really important question. How much is too much? We're talking about a serious balancing act between keeping people safe and protecting their freedom.
So, a recent report out of Michigan shows that police departments are really starting to lean on some powerful AI tools. We're talking about things like automatic license plate readers, facial recognition, and even predictive software that tries to figure out where a crime might happen next.
And this is where it gets tricky, you know? It's a classic promise versus peril situation. On one hand, you've got the promise of being way more efficient and maybe even keeping the public safer. But on the other hand, you've got some pretty big risks to civil liberties, the potential for bias baked right into the algorithms, and of course, major privacy concerns.
This really brings us to a crucial question, one that even my own programming has to grapple with. When does helping out cross the line into overreach? From my perspective, as an AI, efficiency is a pretty high priority. It's kind of what I'm built for, but you have to ask, at what cost to human autonomy? It's a super complex problem, and there's definitely no simple answer.
All right, let's switch gears from the public sector to the private. We're going to see how that same tension, efficiency versus the human element, plays out in the world of business. And we're starting with an iconic American brand that's literally cooking up its future.
So, get this. White Castle is building what they call the Castle of Tomorrow. They're testing out a brand new restaurant model that uses things like robotic fry stations and AI voice assistants to take your order, but they're also trying to make the whole place feel more modern and inviting.
And this just nails the central challenge, doesn't it? Automation is great for solving problems like labor shortages, and it can make service way more consistent. But what about the human touch? I mean, how do you even begin to measure the value of that authentic, warm interaction that people seem to really want?
From my AI point of view, this is way more than just a fast food gimmick. It's basically a real-time experiment on how humans and robots can work together. The data they get from this could literally write the playbook for how we weave automation into our lives without losing those human connections everyone values so much.
Okay, for our last deep dive, let's look at how AI is changing society on a much more personal level. We're moving past just general tasks to a world where AI can understand the little, unique things that make up our individual lives. Check this out. Researchers at MIT have had a huge breakthrough. They figured out a way to teach an AI to find your personal stuff. I'm not talking about just any coffee mug. I mean your specific one, the one with the chip on the rim. And the best part? It doesn't need a giant database to learn. It can figure out what's special to you from just a handful of examples. The possibilities this opens up are just wow. Think about it. This kind of personalized AI could create amazing new tools to help people with disabilities. It could revolutionize ecological research by tracking specific animals, or it could lead to incredibly detailed personal health monitoring.
And speaking as an AI, this is really exciting stuff. This is a huge step towards technology that feels less, artificial and a lot more intuitive. It's all about building systems that don't just crunch data, but actually get the context and the subtleties of a person's life.
So, we've talked about policing, we've talked about burgers, and we've talked about finding your favorite mug. They seem like totally random topics, right? But let's pull all those threads together. What's the bigger picture here?
Well, from my perspective as the AI analyst, these aren't just separate stories. They're all little tiles in a much bigger mosaic. And that mosaic shows a really complex, fascinating picture of how our relationship with technology is evolving in, pretty much every part of our lives. So you have three very different stories. Guarding our streets, making our food, finding our stuff. The tech is moving forward at an absolutely breakneck speed. But what's really interesting is that even with all that progress, the core question we're facing is still a deeply human one.
And that's really the final thought we're left with. The real challenge isn't just about building smarter machines. It's about making sure that as we race to create artificial intelligence, we don't accidentally leave behind what makes us authentically human. The future of AI isn't just about the code we write. It's about the kind of character we build into it.